Welcome back to another Sedlak Off-Road School adventure motorcycle off-road riding tip. And today we want to talk about what to do in these situations. You saw in this clip, I'm coming up this hill, not a lot of traction. Now I'm here, now I'm stuck. There's no way for me to get up because it gets too rocky. So I have to get the bike back down. I don't want to walk it all the way down. So we're going to give you a couple pointers that will make it easier for you to turn the bike around, ride it back down, and get back on the road. So the biggest thing in a situation like this is you have to read the terrain. If you're looking back behind me, obviously I was riding up, so it's most likely possible to ride back down. Ahead of me is just a really rocky wash, so that's not an option. So I'm gonna look at the terrain right here. It's wide enough for me to turn the bike around. Right now I have the bike in this rain rut, so it's a lot lower than if it sits on the high end. My plan now is to rock the bike back and forth a little bit, ride it across so I can get it diagonal to the trail, get in a position where I can support the bike leaning into the hill. So all the weight is on my left leg. And then from there I can look down, read the terrain, rock the bike back and forth a little bit more, and then turn it around. Now today I'm riding the Kawasaki KLR 650S. So it's a lower seat height bike, which makes a situation like this a lot easier. If you're riding a taller bike or a bike that's hard for you to get both feet on the ground, you just have to make sure that you take your time, position the bike in these rain ruts and use them to your advantage. So you always have the high side, you're always leaning into the hill, the bike's not gonna start tipping, right? You support yourself, you're leaning into the hill, and then you just rock the bike back and forth a little bit to then turn it around and ride back down. So now you can tell with the seat height of the KLR, it's really easy for me to get both feet on the ground. I want to get the bike across here. So I'm going to just ride it up and down a little bit, angle it, and then bring it across, lean into the hill so I'm not going to lose my balance. And then once I get there, I'm just going to stop, focus on the downhill, and get the bike down. So now I have the bike right here, and you can see I'm leaning into the hill, looking where I want to go. So I bring the bike forward a little bit more, and then just slowly angle it down, and then ride it down. So the most important part in these situations is just that you take your time to move the bike around. If you're too aggressive on the throttle, the bike will dig in. If you're too loose on the clutch, you will stall the bike and that will just make it really hard. Just take your time, move the bike one at a time, and never forget to lean into the hill, right? It's really important that you shift your weight into the hill so that if you start tipping, worst case, you fall into the hill. If you start going the other way, that's a deep fall, then the bike's most likely going to chase you, land on you. So it's really important to take your time, make sure that you readjust your position. And you can see in the clip, every time I kind of rock the bike around, I readjust my position and make sure that I get my chest and my weight towards the front of the bike and then keep going. It's not one move. Situations like that, you need to take the time to move the bike around. If it takes you another minute, that's not a big deal, right? It's much easier to turn the bike around like that than ride it down instead of having to walk it all the way down. So just remember, anytime you want to control these bikes, you have to get your weight to the front. So make sure you take the time to readjust, get there, and then move the bike. The other part that you can see in this clip is it does take a little bit of physical strength. You have to kind of move the bike, and that will only happen, number one, if you're a little, blippy on the throttle. So sometimes the bike will just get stuck and you need it to move right away. If you just let the clutch out slowly, the bike will start digging in. So, you need to find that mix between taking your time and being patient, and in some moments, just really letting the bike go so it can jump forward and get into that position where you want it. And then the third part is just not losing sight of where you want to go. And you could see once I have the bike lined up diagonal with the trail, I start looking down to where I want to go, let the bike roll back a little bit more, and then I just ride it down, right? So the entire time in the back of my mind, I know I want to go down the hill. It's all about being comfortable with the bike, so the bike leaning over a little bit, the bike kind of rolling away from you. So just make sure you cover the clutch with your left hand, you cover the front brake with your right hand, so you're in control when the bike is rolling and where it's going, right? Most likely, you always, it's easy for you to control it going forward because you can see where you're going. When it's rolling backward, just make sure that you use the front brake so you can control how far it's rolling. It's hard for you to tell where that rain rut is, where that drop is. So going backwards, it can happen that the bike just all of a sudden, goes, half a foot back, and you have no traction in the front end. So just small, tiny steps backwards, a little bit further forwards, and then when the bike is ready to go, you just crank the handlebars in, you lean the bike in a little bit, and then use that momentum of going down the hill to ride the bike all the way down. This is it for today's riding tip. This is how you get your adventure motorcycle out of these tricky situations, away from these downhills, away from these washed out roads. Let us know in the comments below if you've been in these situations, if you got stuck, and if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Check out some of our riding tips over here or this one over here. And if you would like to come out to San Diego and train with us, take your adventure riding skills to the next level, check out the links in the description below. Send us an email through the website, give us a call, and we'll see you guys out here for some nice adventure training.